So, as a resident or homeowner, I might have been invited to join a program. So, once that program that we've created has been set up, you may send out some literature. You may send out an email if you hold people's email addresses, or a text message. Um, or an RLO may go out and visit a property, or a representative may go out and visit a property, and invite people to set up their profile and join a program, join the solar and PV program in this example of what we've said. So let's assume that I've received a letter, and I have been given a link within that, or a QR code, and I've been invited to set up my profile. So it's as simple as putting in my name, um, putting in an email. I can add a phone number if I want to, or I don't have to. And then I will be sent a verification code. That's popped up in my email. And I will go in and put this in here. So then I'm just asked to set up a simple password, and I create my account. Now it's going to ask me for my postcode so that it can identify my property. Sorry, too many twos in there. And I'll select 42 Moorfield Grove. Then I'm going to say I rent from a social landlord. And do I have a code to join a grant funded program? So within the literature, you would have shared, so every program automatically creates a code. So I'm going to go to the program here. So I'm jumping back onto the manager profile, just to show you where that is. So if we go to settings, you can see on the program settings, basics, there is a code that's been generated here. So that could be included on the literature. And then I'm just going to enter that as the resident joining a program. Do I want to join solar and heat pump installations? So as shown on the previous video about the setup, this is the program that we've set up. I'm going to say yes. And that immediately takes me as the resident to that program that we've set up in the manager portal. It shows me what I'm being offered as a starting point. So what improvements? Air source heat pump and solar panels. And I'm able to click into those and find out more about them. So it tells me if I'm likely to make any particular bill savings. It also tells me how it works. So benefits and considerations. This is, things that I should be aware of, what the benefits are likely to be, what's going to be involved in installation, and I can see that obviously for solar panels as well. So I can go back to my improvements. Oh, sorry, staying on my programs. I can see that for solar panels as well, and it also gives me an indication. So the data that we hold about the property, it allows for an indication of savings that may be made as a result of installing solar panels. Now that can be shown or not depending on what you want to be communicating within this. And again, you've got benefits and considerations, etc. If I then go back to the program overview, you can also see the elements that we've put in here. So you can see the case study, Margaret Jennings, heat pump and solar case study. You can jump into there and hear more about it or read more about it. You can see the FAQs that we've set up, which can easily be reviewed, and see all contacts there. So if you want to contact anyone in particular. What you can also see is the full process. So as we said, we'd set most things up to 2 weeks. Obviously with the installation stage, that was set up to 2 months. And then you've got the completion stage as well. Now, once someone has joined this program, I'm going to jump back over to the manager portal, and I will see if I go back to my solar and heat pump installations, I've now got one resident who's joined. And that is Brian Charter, and he is at the retrofit survey stage. So I can go in here And I can actually see everything about the home profile. So I get a Google Street View picture of the home. I got an idea of the roof size and all the different elements that have been undertaken, what improvements could be done to that property, etc. But what I'm going to do is go back to their program, and now I can see all the steps in the process. Now, I might be accessing this as a local authority, as a housing association, or I may have been given access now as a contractor. And what we can do is we set, dependent on postcode, so that different people or different organizations are able to get access when they log in to different profiles, depending on how you want to distribute that. But you can also assign that manually as well. So you might want to assign it to a particular contractor in order for just them to be able to take it through the process and deliver here. What I'm going to do now is go into the first stage, and I'm going to set up an appointment. So I might be calling the resident, or I might just be setting up the appointment and allowing the system to notify them that when the appointment's going to be due. So I'm going to do retrofit survey, and please make sure someone is at home and side access is available. That is going to be in a few days' time, and you're going to be there first thing in the morning. If I save that, what happens now is back to the resident, and all of this is going to be duplicated in SMS as well, which is a development that we're working on right now. But that notifies me that I've got a new appointment. And so I'm able to either log back into the system, or as I can see here, I'm already within the system. I can see I've got a retrofit survey that is due to take place. Now, once the survey is done, I may want to share the details of that survey with the resident, in which case I can upload it here. And so just, and if I save that there, then that will appear on the resident's profile, and they, jumping back to the email, also get a notification you've got documents available for download. And so if I want to, I can go here and I can download that survey. Now, obviously, there are instances where you may not want to be sharing all the documentation related to the property. And so if that is the case, you can upload documents here instead in the overview. And when you click next, you can have resident cannot view or download the document. And then that just sits on that property's profile within the system. So it acts as a centralized document repository. So what happens here is that actually, essentially, the resident is tracked and taken through every stage in the process. So if I go back to their program and go back to retrofit survey, I can confirm that that's completed. They will be notified of that, and we move on to the next stage, which is the retrofit recommendation. So we can upload, we can also go to select the improvement. So you might decide that actually this property is only appropriate for solar panels, and save that as the recommendation. And then you can confirm completion as well, gradually moving through the various stages until you get to the installation stage, which I will create a new video about in order to show how that is, what details you can input at the installation stage.